I think we are live. We are live. Woo! How y'all doing?
Wonderful.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry, everybody. I had some problems sending out the wrong link to some people, so it wasn't coming in correctly. Anyway, I want to say I am your girl, Candy, and I have with me today Brandy Hunter Lewis of Brandy Hunter and Associates. And today we are talking all about Money Making Monday.
Yay.
So I am super excited to talk to you, Brandy. You and I, we have been friends and I guess work-related friends for a minute now. And I highly respect your business game. Okay. And I felt like we needed you to shed some light on, things that people could do right now. At this time, people who are interested in real estate, how it could benefit them. And if they already have real estate, what things they could be doing to maintain during this whole situation that we're going through.
Yeah.
So, if you would, Brandy, please give them a little bit of your background.
Sure. So again, my name is Brandy Hunter Lewis. I am a real estate consultant with Keller Williams Buckhead. I've been in the industry for 15 years, got licensed in Chicago, and then I moved here to Atlanta, and I've been here ever since 2006. I'm a bulldog. I went to school at UGA, so I planted my roots here because I just love Georgia. I love Atlanta, fell in love with the culture here, so I wanted to make Atlanta home for me and my family. So that's kind of a little bit about myself. I was ranked the #1 individual agent in my Keller Williams Buckhead office last year, so I was excited about that recognition. Top 5% of agents nationwide. I'm a certified luxury home marketing specialist, so that is my specialty. However, I do work with everyone. If anyone who has an interest in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I'm delighted to help. So that's a little bit about myself. And I do have a big, beautiful blended family. I'm married, have a husband, and we have a huge family full of student athletes that we're, supporting in all of their efforts and endeavors all over the country. So yeah, between being a mom on the move, I do have a podcast, Mama's on the Move, with my fellow co-host, Keisha Johnson. So we always focus on just work-life balance. And I know Candy has done an excellent job of that, being a mompreneur and all of her hustles. So I admire you just as much. So,
girl, I don't know.
So that's a little bit about me.
I don't know if I got the balance down yet. That's what I'm working on, this balance. But what I can say is that this time that we have been at home for these last few weeks has definitely helped me get things in perspective, and and I'm looking at what I'm doing right now and the things that I've been doing for the better. And I plan on keeping some of those things going even when the world opens back up,
right.
Which is important because I think right now, I saw somebody ask, what's the name of your podcast? Her podcast is Mama's on the Move. It's really dope too. Y'all got to check it out. And because I'm reading comments and I'm talking to you at the same time, so that was past me. But yeah, the thing that I feel like is very important right now is that we take this time to learn and to take the things that we learn to just continue to build us up for the better, build our businesses up for the better. Everything that we said we didn't have time to do before. And, right now you have that time to do your research. And so I've been taking this opportunity on Mondays for the last couple of weeks to bring people in, to give everybody tips and different things that, and, the people that I brought on that they know to help other people out there better their finances. So with that being said, I want to start with my first question. what advice do you have for first-time home buyers?
So I think the most imperative thing that I would say that will top anything else is that you consult with a good real estate agent. That is where you start. And if you don't have one that was referred to you by somebody that you trust, then I would encourage you to interview realtors, because it's just not, like automatic. Oh, okay, yeah, this person, this is what I've heard. I've seen them on IG. No, this is one of the biggest assets that you will ever purchase. So it's important to know that the person that is representing you is qualified, is resourceful, is knowledgeable, and because all agents are not created equal. So you want to make sure you do your research and you hire the right agent. Like such a huge part of the process, and people sometimes miss the mark on that, and it can end up impacting you financially. And it could, if you don't have the right persons, that you is representing you, it can impact your process altogether. So that's where I would say to start, is by making certain that you hire the right professional. That agent will also help you determine your needs and connect you. You'll do a needs analysis. Like I do consultations with all of my clients, because every client is different. Every client has different needs, has different desires. And sometimes you don't even know what you want. So it's my job to help ask probing questions and help you determine like what's the right location based on what your goals are, determining what your budget is, because sometimes you don't even know that out the rip. And a lot of times people put the cart before the horse. So they'll just, they'll get on Zillow or Realtor.com and they'll start just
Go on Zillow.
Yeah, everybody does that. Everybody, and that's no problem, because 98% of consumers start their search process online. So that's no problem. But when you're ready, you actually want to get with a professional so you can get qualified. That's a process in itself, getting pre-qualified for a loan. So you want to make sure you have the right budget in place before you just go out there house hunting, because if not, you can be disappointed. If you don't, you set your sights here, but in actuality, what you qualify for based on what your debt to income ratios are, based on what your income is, based on what your credit profile looks like. All of those things matter when it comes to purchasing a house. So you got to get pre-qualified, and your realtor can connect you with the right loan officer. So like with me, I have several lenders that I work with. I've vetted all of them, and I really refer people based on what their needs are. Because sometimes you have people that are self-employed, they file income taxes differently, so I have a lender for that. Then you have people who may not, their credit profile isn't as strong. So, you want to connect them with a lender that can analyze that situation and help them find out where they are and where they need to be. So, so the agent is really the catalyst of all of that, because they can point you in the right direction, get you qualified, assess your needs, and then you all can start the process. And once you start the process, it shouldn't take any more than 2 to 3 months if you have the right professional and if you have realistic expectations. So, having the right realtor also helps you with that, because you need to understand what the market looks like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off. I want to say a couple of comments. I see a comment from Candy Taylor, who says, I just paid off my home. Thanks for the grant and loan info. We had gave out some information about grants and stuff in the past. So I know it wasn't a question I sent you ahead of time, but I did want to ask, okay, well, what's going on right now? I know some banks are not doing loans because there's so much going on with the other stuff they got to lend out for the SBAs. And I'm like, so how do people find the right lender, or a lender that can help them in their situation, in their time of need?
Yeah, so a lot has changed during this health scare, and with a lot of programs that were available just 4 or 5 weeks ago aren't available now. Your credit profile has to be a lot stronger if you're a borrower looking to purchase a home right now. So, where the credit limits for an FHA loan used to be 620, now they're 660, so you definitely have to look a lot better.
What's FHA loan? Tell everybody who don't.
So an FHA loan is a government loan, and generally your your credit profile doesn't have to be super like high, the credit, you don't have to have like a 700 credit score. You're with an FHA loan, you can get a loan up to, I believe the loan limits have increased now to, I think 400 and I think it's 84,000. So, it's backed by the government. It's one of the strongest loan programs that we have. It only requires you to put down 3.5%. So for that reason, people like that loan. A conventional loan, you normally have to put down, 5%, or you can put down more money. But FHA requires you to put down the least amount of money, and you can have a lower credit score with an FHA loan program.
Okay. That was good to know. How can opportunities exist in this current market if they are looking to buy property?
Yeah, so there are a lot of opportunities, even during a time like this, where everyone has a need for real estate. Like, we were considered an essential business even when they were shutting down everything else, because, real estate, is always going to keep moving. You have people that are going through family situations, divorce, marriage, relocation, unfortunately death, that's a reason people end up having to sell their home. So the market is going to always be moving. The opportunities absolutely exist, even during a time such that we're in. And, when the market, and I get this question a lot. Well, the market's about to crash, and, if you pay attention, and Candy, I know this, because when we went through our real estate crash back in that 2006, 2007 timeframe, our market was, severely impacted, especially in certain areas within the Atlanta area. But the 5-6 years leading up to that crash, our home appreciation was up between 8 and 12%. So we were experiencing something that was really not, it shouldn't have been happening anyway. So now, if you look at back over the past 5 to 6 years, our home appreciation has ranged anywhere from like 4 to 6%. So that's stable, that's sensible, so I don't see, and what all the data that we've been getting, we don't see what happened to our market back in 2008 happening to our market right now. So it's definitely still,
even with the economy is being affected and people, are not being able to work. Like, what is the prediction?
Yeah, it's going to shift. Now, it's not to say that it's not going to shift, because like you said, people have lost jobs, they've lost income, but once things open back up and, prayerfully things will be back to normal soon, then we're going to see an influx of people putting their homes on the market, because springtime is normally the time when people list their homes for sale anyway. And those people still have a need to sell, so that's not going to change. So, it gives me comfort in saying that, it won't be like it was back then, but we will experience a shift, but it just won't be where, our market is just going to do, what it did back in 2007.
Okay. I see a couple of people posting this. So I'm going to go ahead and read this question. It's Demetrius Childress. He says, tips on using a VA loan. He's not the only person that's asked. Do you know anything about VA?
Yeah. VA loans are great, and they're normally 100% financing. So if if you're a veteran, that's certainly something that you can take advantage of. Most lenders do VA loans, just like, now there are lending institutions that only specialize in VA loans. So you can certainly go that route. Or like, if you came to me, I will refer you to one of my lenders, because all of them do VA loans. So the guidelines are pretty similar to an FHA loan, where your credit score needs to be at a minimum 620. Now that likely has increased some since we've been during this health scare, but it's a great loan to take advantage of if you're a veteran. So that opportunity is there.
Okay. Let me go to my questions. Let me see. I'm sorry. I had another question lined up and then my phone went out. Okay, here it goes. Okay, what educational resources do you have for home buyers? Because obviously, if you were their agent, you have all this information yourself. But a lot of people, they all over the country. It's not just people in Georgia.
Right.
That option right now. And so, do you have, websites or different things that you can tell them that they should look into, or books or anything that you can give them that they can go and do some of this other research that they need to get that information?
And yeah, because and every state is different. It's so I say Google is your friend. As far as there being resources here, like in Georgia, that I could suggest. There are a few books that I would recommend. My the owner of my company, Gary Keller, he's written a few books on investing, and flipping homes. Flip. There's another one called Shift, and but as far as there are all kinds of home buying seminars that are held like at local offices in your whatever respective city that you're in. So even if you found a real estate company, and like I'm with Keller Williams, so if you looked up a local Keller Williams office, like at our office, we have home buying seminars held monthly. So you can always attend a home buying seminar. Peaches had suggested that we do one here with at Tags with me and Carmen and a lending professional here. So that's always a good source of information. But there's so much information available to you at your fingertips via Google that you could definitely take advantage of that way.
Okay, I'm gonna read this question. Now, I hope you are not upset. I'm gonna miss. I don't know if I'm going to say your name correctly, but it's Iritiolua Akinwande. I think that's how you pronounce it. But she says, do you believe that buying tax lien deeds is a good idea?
Yeah, I know a lot of people that capitalize on tax liens. It's a specialty, just like there are other means of ways to obtain wealth in real estate. I'll be honest with you, every state is different. So there's not like a general, thing where you can just say, here's the rule of thumb. That's an industry, a niche that you definitely want to do your research on. You want to do your due diligence. You want to get as much information you can about, obtaining tax liens and what that looks like. So it's not something that I necessarily specialize in, but I do know people that benefit and have garnered wealth from just focusing on tax liens.
Okay, well, I'm gonna speak on this one since I have a little bit of experience in that area.
You do.
Well, I had okay, so Brandy has been my realtor for a very long time, and I am like such a fan of finding properties that have either been a foreclosure, you fix them up, and you be able to have instant equity in your property, home, or whether it's commercial or personal home or whatever. But I actually, where we bought the candy factory, it was just a bank-owned property that was, not in the best area. So I bought it and bought it from the bank. It was a foreclosure. And then afterwards, on the lot that was next to me, it's just a lot. Ain't nothing was on it. And I got tired of people throwing trash on the lot or parking their cars on the lot. And it's because it's right next to my building. And my goal is to fix up the areas that, I grew up in or were around. So for me, if I could get these properties and fix them up or make it better, then that's what I'm going to do. So what I was told was, well, basically the lot had just been sitting there. I was trying to research the owner of it, but they had not paid the taxes in forever. So from when I did my research, from what I found out, the person, just say it was a sketchy person. And so the lot was just sitting there forever and ever. So I went at the courthouse steps and I bought all the tax deeds. And then basically in the state of Georgia, you buy the taxes on the property and then you basically put it up on the courthouse steps, or you buy to get the tax deed, which is when it gives you ownership of the property. Mm-hmm. You have to actually get it on the courthouse steps. So I bought the taxes from the tax assessor's office. And then from that point, the person can either buy them from you, pay it back from you, and they have to pay interest on it, or you can foreclose on it a year later as a tax lien. situation. I might be using the wrong word or term or whatever. And so basically, I went back on the courthouse steps a year later and bought it from myself. and then you file the paperwork and then it's yours. Simple as that. So yes, to answer your question, that was a long way of basically saying that depending on how much you're spending for the tax lien. And I would also suggest that you get a property tax attorney, a person that deals with these, to help you with it so that you file all the paperwork correctly. Because obviously, if you don't do it correctly and you don't take all the proper steps, then, it's a no-go. But it's a lot of people who, they buy people taxes all the time, and then they just they decide to put them on the courthouse steps so that the person, they buy them and then they foreclose on them a year after you buy them on the steps. So it's a process. I didn't tell you in full detail, but what I'm saying is you can get a lot of properties that way. I know myself, if I'm late paying my taxes on my house or your business, have you noticed it's always like, if you're ever late, I don't know if y'all, a lot of people have their taxes and insurance in their monthly payment through their mortgage company. But if you don't, and if you the 30 days late, somebody has bought, it's companies out there that go and buy your taxes from the tax assessor's office. So you have to go back and buy it from them with fees on top. And so that's their hustle. They just do that. They just buy taxes all day and they charge people fees, and they charge them like it's like a percentage that you have to pay monthly to these people so that they can release the lien. Right. A year later, they could throw it up on the courthouse steps, and then you're really in trouble. Let me just say that.
Yeah. So you learned so much about that process by going through it, but it did. You had to be really diligent and researching all that. Like, so you can't, it's nothing that you can just haphazardly fall into. You need to really do your research.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, I definitely, when I was buying that lot, I definitely got an attorney to help me to make sure that I did it correctly, because I didn't want to, do anything that was just going to be a waste of money. Let me see. The other question that I had for you is, is this the time to buy commercial real estate?
And it's funny because you can ask someone in the real estate industry, and I think you ask 10 realtors, whether they be commercial or residential realtors, they're going to tell you the same thing. It's always a good time to buy real estate. So it's just a matter of determining what you're looking for and what makes sense for you. So, considering that we are going into a shift, a real estate shift creates opportunities. Just like Candy, you just expressed that, the last time when you purchased the building, the candy factory, that was an incredible opportunity based on the shift that was going on in our market, and you capitalized on that. So considering that we are about to experience a shift, it definitely is a good time. If you look at, there will be opportunities for, retail, office, industrial, and the people who have the funding will be able to capitalize, on those opportunities. So, even with what we're experiencing right now in Atlanta, there's growth in Atlanta, so there's still a shortage of, condos and multifamily developments. So, there's always going to be, and that of course, goes along the lines of commercial development. So yes, to answer that question, yes, it would be a good time. And I would certainly advise you to connect with the right agent, a commercial agent, somebody that specializes in, and because commercial and residential is two totally different animals. So just don't, make certain that you do your diligence and find the right agent that can represent you fairly when obtaining commercial properties.
Yeah. Okay, I got to answer two more questions on the side. One was Carla Marshall says, I was told that just because you pay the delinquent taxes, that doesn't mean that you can acquire ownership. Yes, that's correct. I don't know if I explained it incorrectly before, but it's companies that buy your delinquent taxes, and they buy them because basically they hold them and they charge you interest on top of whatever they bought your taxes for. So basically, you can't sell your house. You can't do anything until you pay those people back, but you're paying them back with interest. And so I was saying it's a lot of companies, that's all they do is buy people's taxes so that they can get the money from the interest for it, because they'll just sit on it forever. And then the other thing they do is after a year's time, they can, if you do not pay them, they can put those taxes up on the courthouse steps, which is the other question on the side. It's from Janine Nerop. I don't know if I pronounced that right. She says, what does throw or putting it on the courthouse steps mean? What I'm saying is here in Atlanta, Georgia, I don't know how they do it everywhere else, but here in Atlanta, Georgia, and they do this in a lot of places. Is it the first Tuesday of every month?
First Tuesday, yep.
Yeah. First Tuesday of every month at the steps of the city, whatever city you're in, or county or city, that on the courthouse steps of that particular city or county. So if you go into at the city of Atlanta or Fulton County, Fulton County is the one who posted or whatever. So the Fulton County courthouse is downtown, I think on Trinity or whatever. On the courthouse steps, there's actually a person who stands out there at the top of the morning, and you'll see a whole bunch of people standing there, and they'll call off properties that they have one side that's for foreclosures, and they have one side that's for tax liens. And they will sell your tax lien, which is what I was saying about somebody hold your taxes for a year. They could sell your tax lien. If somebody buys the tax lien and they hold that lien for a year and they take it to the court, they can file to own that property just for the tax lien. So, it's a process, but yes, there is a way they can buy your house just for the taxes that are owed on it, but it's a process. Or it's the foreclosure side, whereas you see with the bank foreclosures or whatever, they will stand on the courthouse steps. Somebody, a city official or whatever, or Fulton County sheriff will stand on the courthouse steps, call off your property and say exactly what the bank wants for it. And normally the bank only wants what is owed. So say, for instance, you bought the house for $250,000, but you only owe $50,000. It'll just say the Bank of America, whoever, they, the bid start off at $50,000, and it will be people on that courthouse step. They'll be raising their hand, $50,000. They'll buy it, and then somebody else will try to outbid them, and they'll do it to whatever, whatever.
It sells to the highest bidder. It sells to the highest bidder.
Yeah, it sells to the highest bidder. And so that's what I was saying about being on the courthouse steps. So typically you can find the listings if you go looking for it. If you go, I guess like here in Georgia, the Fulton County, they put it out on they used to have a newspaper they used to put it out in. You could get it the week before that first Tuesday of the month, and they'll tell you all the properties that's going up on there. Or your websites, or you go to somebody like Brandy who has all the lists, and you're able to find all that information. Brandy and I, we bought a couple of properties, commercial property and the house, through that way. It's just finding foreclosures, properties that just been sitting. And and we look and be like, okay, well, you make them an offer. If they take it, they take it. And that's the way that people really make money, because you buy it for way cheaper than what it's worth. If you can, afford to, do the repairs or whatever to fix it up. Some of them don't even need repairs, right, Brandi?
Yeah. And here's, prior to this, COVID situation or health scare, our foreclosure inventory was less than really 2% of all the homes that were on the market. So it's a small niche. It wasn't like it was back then when you found your opportunities, Candy. Like our market had completely shifted. So, foreclosures were far and few between. However, for those investors that specialized, and just like you have the tax lien as a specialty, because there are people who normally find niches and they focus on that. Like investors, they just have they specialize, they focus on one thing, because it really takes a lot of diligence and a lot of work and research to really put your efforts into becoming wealthy on, on investing. So even like if you're pursuing homes on the courthouse steps, you have to be cash heavy. You can't buy those with a loan. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Like I get people who come to me and say, oh, I want to look at foreclosures. And I'm like, well, it doesn't quite work that way. If you're purchasing a house with a loan, you can't buy a house at the courthouse steps. Now you can buy a house that has been listed with a realtor that is a foreclosure. You can use a loan, a bank loan, to purchase the house that way, but they're just so far and few between now. Now that may change. As I mentioned, that we're about to go through a shift. There will be through people that are losing their homes. So I just don't think it will be as severe as it will be back when the last crash that we experienced.
Right. But here's another thing that since we just so happen to be talking about foreclosures, you're right. It hasn't been a lot of foreclosures lately. But if you so happen to find a foreclosure and you don't really have the money to buy it, I know of a lot of people who put together investment groups. Like say for instance, if you and 5 of your homegirls say, hey, we want to try to flip a house or whatever. Let's say it's somehow, some hole in the wall houses. Sometimes at one point you can find some that was only like, $20,000, $50,000, and they'd be like really broken down. But the fact is, if you got 5 people chipping in and then y'all fix that thing up and it sells for whatever more than what you put into it, then you take that money and you reinvest into your reinvestment group, get another one and do it again and do it again. Until the next thing you know, y'all have a big pot of money between you and you say, okay, well now we're going to take on bigger properties. It's a lot of investors that started that way.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great way to start out. And even let's just say you did find a foreclosure. If you're, looking to be owner occupant and you find a house that you love, but it needs some work done, they have loan programs out there. There's a loan called a 203K, was a 203K and a 203B, depending upon the type of loan that you get. But let's just say that you're looking for a house that's $200,000. The house that you're wanting to purchase is $150,000, but it needs $50,000 in renovation repairs or repairs or just renovations. So there are loans designed out there that will help you build the cost of the renovation into that loan. So that's an opportunity for somebody who is looking at homes that are distressed or, may need a little work, and it don't even have to be a foreclosed property. It could be a house that's in a decent condition, but let's just say you want to update the kitchen. You want to update the appliances or the countertops or just anything that you want to do. You can incorporate those upgrades into your loan with that type of loan, 203K.
So how do people find out about those loans that are available or like any grants or anything or find, programs that are made to help people become homeowners?
Yeah, and I can't stress this enough. You got to find the right realtor. The realtor is going to connect you with the lenders. You can certainly Google, loan officers in whatever respective city you're in. But the finding the right loan officer is generally, the loan officer is generally found through the lender. Through the realtor. So having the right realtor, like I have a plethora of resources, and it's generally me that I connect people with the people that they need depending on what their needs are. So it kind of all starts out with the real estate agent. But you can certainly Google those programs and just research those programs. You can always start with who you bank with. Like let's just say you're with Bank of America. Bank of America does mortgages, but generally banks have stricter guidelines than mortgage companies. So you will run into like, okay, you definitely got to have your ducks in a row when you go through like, Bank of America, but other lending institutions like the one of the lenders that I use is with the Loan Depot. She has great programs. Synovus is another lender that I use. They have 100% financing programs. So, just getting with the right realtor that can connect you with the right lenders is really the key.
Well, thank you, Brandy. Can you tell everybody how they can either reach out to you and tell them more about your podcast so they can follow up and see more of what you have to offer to everybody, all the good information?
Absolutely. So you all can find me. My website is brandyhunter.com, and it's Brandy with an I, hunter.com. I'm also on social media. My social media is B_luxurious. Just Be Luxurious, B_luxurious on all platforms. That's IG, Twitter, Facebook. So you can find me there. Let's see, my podcast is Mamas on the Move. And as I mentioned, I co-host that with my girl, Keisha Johnson. And y'all, we are hilarious. Like it's a really good podcast. So y'all should check it out. We're on all streaming platforms, iTunes, Spotify, every streaming platform imaginable. So that's how you find me.
Yes.
You can send me an email. If you want direct information, my email is bhunter@kw.com. I'd be delighted to answer any more questions. And I can refer you to an agent in the city or state that you're in. We do have a great, vast referral network of agents. So I can certainly connect you with a realtor in your respective city.
Well, that is great to know because there's a lot of people on here. So I'm sure they're gonna be hitting you up trying to for you to help them find the right situation. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really encourage you to go back, watch this again, to be able to write down any information that you may have missed or that you probably forgot or need to just write down, okay? As well as go back and watch some of my previous Money Making Mondays because there's so much great information. And I cannot stress enough that you need to go back and write that stuff down so you do not forget. My takeaway from today is I definitely would suggest to you to do your research, find the right realtor, as Brandy said, to also find out more about different lending firms, not just your regular banks, but there are mortgage companies out there. That's what you told us, right? As well as, if you're interested in foreclosures, do your research. They put them up every month. Sometimes some months have more than others. But also think about investment groups. If you do not have enough money to do it on your own, start an investment group with your friends, and just get started. Yep. There's more power within numbers.
That's right.
A hand, 5 fingers make a fist. It's more power in numbers. So sometimes it's better to get a great group of friends together that you trust each other and that, at least a couple of y'all got to have some good business sense and make money together, I hope that was helpful. As always, please, any information that we tell you here, I encourage you to do your own research. I am not a professional, although she's a professional in real estate. I am not a professional. So I'm just giving you advice, not to say that you should not do your own research. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and comment on my YouTube. And please subscribe to my YouTube, Candy Online. Do you have a YouTube, Brandy?
I do. It's Brandy Hunter and Associates.
All right. And subscribe to her YouTube channel as well. Thank you guys for watching Money Making Monday.
Thank you, Candy. Bye, everyone.
Oh, they said post it. Oh, yeah, they do post. I saw somebody say they post every month the foreclosure list. They do every month.
They do.
All right. Bye, everybody. Love y'all. Bye. See you.
See you, girl.